Circulated throughout history are insignificant periods of time in which little history is made. Political leaders come and go. Elections are won and lost, and laws are passed and repealed. Politics, culture, and society continue on with slight variation. Then, everything changes.
Are you ready for a political revolution?
I alone can fix it.
Anything is possible if enough decent people are prepared to stand up against the establishment.
Fresh political leaders take the stage. Political parties are more polarized than ever.
We have a country that's so divided that maybe even you don't understand. I've never seen anything like it.
Social tensions explode into anger and frustration. Citizens, once disillusioned with politics, are attentive to government. Liberal democracy is once again deemed at stake. Within the last decade, our world has strayed from conventional liberal democracy, and a populist wave has engulfed the earth. In fact, Max Fisher of the New York Times says, populist parties now reliably win about 1 in 6 votes. Populism greatly differs from liberal democracy. It is a political approach that targets ordinary people who feel chronically undermined by established elitist groups. Though many see it as a threat to liberal democracy because of its disobedient and rebellious facade, I see the populist wave as one of the best things to happen to this country. In this video, I will argue that because of the intricate and ingenious approach our founders had in establishing our government, populism will never replace liberal democracy. Instead, populism is only bettering our nation's current state because it is serving as a primary asset in the reignition of American patriotism and democratic participation. First, before I can address why the populist movement is so beneficial, I must address a common counter-argument to the idea that populism can truly be advantageous to democracies. Many political scientists and people across the globe constantly warn that populism is threatening to democracies because it standardizes and encourages dissent for a country's political norms and therefore will eventually end the nation's current political system. I disagree. Populism will never force an end to our nation's liberal democracy because of the convoluted and innovative approach our founders had in establishing our government. The Declaration of Independence says, "The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states." Our founders escaped Britain's callous monarchy with one primary intention: to escape a government in which citizens are subjects of absolute tyranny. Thus, they created a bulletproof political system able to withstand all potential corruption, rebellion, or dictatorship. For instance, checks and balances is a fundamental principle of American government in which each branch of the government has the power to influence and check actions of the other branches. Its sole purpose is preventing a single branch of government from becoming too powerful, yet political scientists still advocate that populism leads to dictatorship. For example, when explaining their negative predictions of the populist movement, Harvard University political scientists Stephen Levitsky and Daniel Ziblatt write, "Many government efforts to subvert democracy will be legal in the sense that they are approved by the legislature or accepted by the courts." These political scientists are essentially saying that populism will lead to a corrupt government in which leaders' illegal actions will be swept under the rug and eventually lead to dictatorship. This idea is preposterous. Our government cannot quickly pass and rewrite laws in favor of a particular leader because of our bicameral legislature. A bill must endure profuse authorization before it can advance. Even as a law, the judicial branch can still question constitutionality through judicial review. We also have a multiplex bureaucracy that consists of plentiful committees that impact decision-making. We have the Federal Reserve to regulate funds and disprove certain conduct, further preventing only a single leader from dictating our nation's budget allocation. Our government is made up of complex branches and institutions that each have power over each other, making it impossible for our democracy to surrender to any other political system or institution. The populist movement will never lead to the demise of liberal democracy.